So, I've been working on learning game development for a few years, just testing out a few different prototypes and game mechanics, but eventually you need to put all those things together and turn it into an actual game. So that's what I've been trying to do for about a year. I knew I would need to keep the scope small if I had any hope of actually finishing it, but it's still been a process of trial and error to figure out how small it really needs to be. I started out thinking I could still have these big ideas and then just try to fit them into a small package, like an action RPG where you visit different planets with a quirky sidekick, or an action game about a boy who climbs giants, or an animal dude escaping from a lab. Each of these concepts was smaller than the last one, but they all still relied on complicated elements. So I realized I might be doing things backwards. Rather than starting with a concept like a movie and trying to shrink it down into a small game, I should start with the smallest idea I can think of and then see if I can make a game out of that. Just make it fun to jump around a room and then make the next room and the next until it's done. That way I can focus on building essential systems like a save system and health and inventory and power-ups. And then I can reuse all those systems in the future. So that's where the idea for Polywog came from. It's just a short little game about hanging out in nature and solving a few puzzles. When I was a kid, I had this animal encyclopedia, and I loved all the details of animals' lives, like when they showed you a cross-section inside a beaver lodge. It felt like getting a glimpse into their world, and I wanted to spend more time in that world. There's a lot of movies and games about animals, but they often focus on human ideas, like revenge and greed, justice and politics. And I just want to get away from all that and live in the dirt with my animal brothers. And I feel like a game is the best medium to do that. I really like games that are designed around atmosphere and a sense of immersion. So I want to focus on visual storytelling, like a Pixar short or a nature documentary. You start out as an egg getting washed downstream, and then you have to find a way back to your family. So the game loop is all about collecting food and energy so that you can grow up and complete your migration. You also unlock new movement abilities, like doing a double jump, a wall run, or a glide. I'm trying to reuse a lot of stuff I built before, like the character was originally made for a short film, and a lot of the mechanics were made for other prototypes. I won't go over all the things I programmed since this is just an introduction, but here's a few of the things I've worked on. I made a leveling system that controls Polywog's growth and also increases attributes like walk speed and jump height. I also worked on a spline camera system to create a more cinematic view in some areas. And for some reason I got obsessed with water and buoyancy because I wanted the character to ride on top of waves, which is different from a lot of games where the waves are only visual. And I also made a tool that can paint the flow of water, and that flow data can actually push the swimming character. I've also been working on these magic water bubbles that you can swim inside and use to solve puzzles, so I'd like to add more interactive things like that. There's a bunch of other things I've been wanting to add, like meeting different animals and helping them out, or adding a few more twists to the story, but I can talk about those things once I've made some more progress. So the reason I'm making a video now is that I recently did my first playtest with a group, so it seems like a good time to document my progress. Most of the feedback I've been getting has been positive, like a few people said the movement was satisfying, and that's probably the part that I care the most about. And the most common critique is that I should add enemies. I do have some enemies that I've designed and built, but I've been waiting to add them into future levels, so maybe that's something I should work on soon. The best part of doing a playtest, I think, is that it forces you to get the game ready to show. So I replaced a lot of the temporary assets and fixed a lot of bugs that were lower priority. And then you finally get to see the game through other people's eyes, because when you play your own game, it isn't that fun. You're just noticing all of the things you need to fix. But it's a really good motivator to put it in someone else's hands and see if they actually enjoy it or not. So now I'm just looking for more ways to stay motivated, and part of that effort is making this video so that I can look back on it and measure my progress. And also because if I'm sharing this project and more people know about it, that can make me feel more like I'm making it for someone. And that shift in perspective can help me make the game better. Um, so now the question is what to do next. And I'm thinking instead of just making the next level, I should make a level that's later in the game so people can test out all the movement abilities and interact with enemies and see the bigger picture. Um, and then I can do a playtest on Discord or something. So maybe subscribe if you want to hear about that. And just let me know any other comments you might have, because getting feedback early can really be helpful to keep you from going down the wrong path for too long. And then I just want to make some more progress and post another video and see how things go. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.